Alright, so we're gonna play some Zoe Lux, which are two champions I really like. Lux has felt really powerful post her buff to only costing 5 mana now. This is a deck list we shamelessly net decked off the internet, so let's go ahead and pop on into some games with it and see how it goes this morning as we dip back into the ladder for a little bit. The bottom of gold. I think that's gold. Let's see. I'm gonna go with gold. Or indeed light. Yeah, it's neat that Runeterra has bigger open entry events. They had like almost 250 players for that, right, dude? Light. Does net decking ruin the ladder? Obviously. Okay, so we want a single combat to kill an echo if it comes up. I'm gonna keep Solari Priestess mulligan the rest of these. Gazillion's really good. This is, we got to play this in all of our matches yesterday, and it felt very powerful in all of them. I don't have anything to do in our first couple of turns here, but that's fine. We get to just bank spell mana, which is not a big deal. Spell Thief potentially could grab us a Chrono post Echo down the line. I assume they're just going to open for 4 here. Yeah, since they're opening attacks, we'll go ahead and play Solari Priestess here. I think Gold Sister sounds good. This creates us 2 bodies and gives us a little bit of a life buffer. Marn and Magical Caracal. Actually, 33 months. Welcome back.
My plans.
The Demacian soldier is worth 10 foes.
We do have some 6 mana spells. 4 Demacia is a 6 mana spell, right? So you kind of have 3 of those. We just passed here. I think the plan is single combat, this.
I protect my own.
And then we could drop a Radiant Guardian. An ally will have died this round. Huh? So if I sharp sight here, their thing still dies, and this will get to bump into this for 2. I won't get to... Oh, never mind. Oh, fuck me. I wish you could check... burst spells on the eye. I guess I do this now. And then quicksand their shitter. So this stays alive. It's not really a good exchange for us. Yeah, the fact that I don't know that I'd say it's unintuitive that you can go negative, but it is incredibly unintuitive that the negative is not displayed. I'm just gonna concede this game. I don't feel like playing anymore. Yeah, I don't think going negative is inherently bad. I think the fact that the interface showed me what was actually a -1 as a 0 is bad interface design. If it's actually a -1, it should show me a negative value. Sanzi, thanks for the 2 months of Prime. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And Covern, thanks for the tier 3 and thanks for the 39 months. Yeah, one of the two. Either it shouldn't be negative, or if it is negative, it should show it as such on my screen. Pick one or the other. I actually think it's fine having it be negative for what it's worth. The interface just being unclear about what my character's stat line is the problem. So the actual rules interaction there seems fine. Hush is probably great against a Fiora deck. Honestly, these others are probably fine here too. What does this card do in this shell? It's just like filler.
Soldiers, to me.
So we don't really have any units with Challenger or anything like that, right?
A Demacian soldier is worth 10 foes. I will not prevail.
I mean, this could just be a goat though, right? We're not playing any goats.
Strength in grace, beauty in the blade.
Yeah, it's just not very proactive. Well, I guess maybe you just want to be banking Spellman on the first 2 turns.
For the honor of House Laurent. Try
House Laurent. All right, this card's a 3/2 now. That's great for us. Yeah, I guess it is good with single combat. It's fair. Yeah, if they have another freeze here, we can hush our Bright Steel Protector and have this kill this, or hush this to put it back. Currently, this combat is going very well for us. I think our deck is more of a control deck. Radiant Guardian's usually indicative of something going a little bit bigger and longer. I am okay with this exchange. That seems like a win for us.
We march. Meet them head on.
We had a friend die, so we get to play this.
Nothing escapes my watch.
Good stat line, good keywords.
By my honor, you must die.
You must die. The Pick Band Gauntlet is only available Friday through Monday, Engineer. So we're just lettering.
In Avarosa's name.
En garde.
Yes. I think it's going to be a concession when they can't beat our hand here, because our hand is... This attack here is so good for us, because our hand is stacked. Their attacking order is also wrong here. They want to order this second, because your Nexus life can't go above 20. So you want to have this hook into here, so then any life this gains is negated, because you can't go above 20. Okay. I think I just let this happen, so they don't get to draw a card when this dies. Just going to go ahead and Guiding Touch, draw a card. I think I am just planning to do different decks for deck voting today. I think that's my plan. That one will eventually come back up again, but not in the short term. Charger seems fine. Well, I mean, if you're gonna twist my arm about it.
Look out for Reavers. Over there.
Something to note here too is that Star Shaping is heal an ally as well, so we could use this to heal this back up, which is nice.
I fight for the fallen.
So I have infinite life at the moment. We really need a Zoe or a Lux to like kind of unlock our hand and turn our a little bit ahead on board into a huge advantage. Their single combats have not broken their way.
Strike without worry.
All aggressive, but I kind of like getting rid of their 5/5 here. I have a second Hush, just in case, and like a Concerted Strike. It could be right to be like overly conservative with Hush in this matchup, though.
I never hold back. Try me.
So Strike is really good against barriers. It says one strikes and then the other strikes. Yeah, you're capped at 20 in Runeterra. So these things, it gives the aggro decks more of a chance so that there's not a lot of garbage time in Runeterra matches. If you're still playing a game, usually there's a chance you can win. Things don't really snowball like they do in Magic. Opponent's deck's kind of all in on Fiora though. Thresh Ash, huh? Keep the proactive 2/3 here, mulligan the rest. Alright, one of our champions finally decided to show up. That's nice. Welcome to the party. Radiant Guardian's like an honorary champion in this deck, huh? Nice. Every time Zoe hits them, she generates us a super cool star chart or makes an existing one in our hand cheaper. And she levels up and we've cast 10 differently named cards. Hey, the gang's all here. Just do that and play another Zozo out. Danger Noodle? No Noodle. I guess I could have gotten Equinox and silenced this. Is a thought. Save the other Zoe. This is why we didn't Equinox here proactively. I want to save her from something like Vile Feast here. Hiya!
These old eyes still see far and clear.
Hush, little wolfie, don't say a word. Zoe's gonna buy you a mockingbird. Can we go ahead and Vanguard here, giving them a window to kill Zozo because I don't want them to have good open attacks. I think I want to chill on Spell Thief for now. There's a chance they have pretty big things. Seems like a pretty challenging matchup for us.
We can do this. This is my choice.
So Thresh levels when he's seen 6 things die. I think Star Chart double stuns a little too aggressive, especially when I have like the Lux in my hand. I don't think there's really a reason to blow my spell like that. Huh. Submersible actually seems kind of great.
Leave your bags in the door.
Okay, that's not terrible.
Another round. Meet them head on.
Let's get Thresh pretty close to leveling. It's gonna do this. Use my life total as a bit of a resource here. If we can avoid this leveling up, it's ideal. Use the Star Chart to soft pass here. This is very likely just Drew and Ash. Have anything great to do with my mana here? I might just pass. It burns 3 mana for them, but it burns 5 for us. Okay, so now we get to Spell Thief this Vengeance. And then we get to Vengeance their Thresh in response, which levels my Lux and gives me a laser. This is why we held the Spell Thief.
Hiding my light too long. Lights out.
And we get to go ahead and Final Spark this, which means my Submersible is 10 out of 10. Yo, super rewarded for our patience there. Meow, 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 meow.
Then kindle anew.
Kindler is kind of a rough one. Their deck has a lot of grind in it. Yeah, that's fine, right? We'll let that happen, and we'll play a Radiant Guardian.
What will you have?
They're just putting
Stay back.
things on Thresh here, which is fine. We'll give Thresh a token, but gain 3 life. But I need to kill Thresh super proactively here. Our turns have not been particularly resource efficient. It might have been right to just Star Shaping there to try and find a bomb, honestly. Just try and take Thresh on the way out the door with us here. They can have 3rd Vengeance. Yeah, that's fine, right? Okay. This is a Celestial card that we behold. I don't think they're going to be able to 3x this in response. I'm just going to take this hit. There's no reason to give them freebies here. We have this to gain life. We have this to gain life. Obliterate. Assuming they're on super greedy things like Harrowing, this game is far from over. If anything, we're probably still a bit behind. Well, there's the 3rd Vengeance, so they're out of that. What's going on, Jin? Yeah, we're gonna do Runeterra to start every day.
I will unite the Freljord.
Ha. They're out of Vengeances. They could have Ruination, though. This could be a Living Legends angle, honestly. So let's just do this. Could still have Ruinations. What are the odds they have a Frostbite here? High? Is it crazy to just burn their mana? Hey, Fantasy Ends, thanks for 27 months. Welcome back. This might be wrong, but it's really hard to not take a burn 10 mana.
Winter take you.
So that 31 month skirt. Welcome back.
Through the darkness, I see something new. Hope.
Astro Wiki. Thanks for the 17 months. Welcome back. You just like stun these, huh? This thing gives overwhelm.
That light flickers.
And we're trying to set ourselves up for Demacia for next turn, right? With this overwhelm. The question is, do I want to deploy another one of these first? So I have 13 mana total. Beware Atrocity. Yeah, I guess if I want to play around Atrocity, they're just surrendering. Alright. I mean, the 4 Demacias face up. we were definitely for Demacia attacking this turn. The question is if we're doing other stuff first, so if they were dead to that, might as well just not make us think about it. We're really bad at drawing copies of Lux so far today. I quite enjoy my job, Jim. Especially since I stopped focusing on metrics as much and just kind of chilling and doing what we're doing. Yeah, I mean, like, a Singleton Atrocity is pretty good in, like, most SI decks can have a somewhat large thing, right? We definitely keep Hush against Mono Pantheon. I'm mulling the rest of these looking for some more proactive cards. Nice, like that one. They did not, Beansy. They made the format a little bit more linear than it was previously with the most recent patch, but it was pretty good before that, so even making it, like, slightly worse is still pretty reasonable.
My shield is yours.
Yeah, like, if this was... I'm gonna keep track of how often I wish this was a goat. This is definitely one of those times. I think this is a make star chart cheaper angle as opposed to grinding card advantage with it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and open attacks here. And then we'll probably drop the priestess.
Come out from your shadows, demon.
I think I'll take the proactive card here.
Warms the heart and lights the way.
Could go either way. That's a little sad. Maybe I'm supposed to grab the draw champion, give it +2/+2. Could have been a reasonable take there as well. So they're kind of proactive effect. I don't think that's strictly true, Jin. Like, I mean, I don't really play a ton of Runeterra off stream, so like, I'm only playing like, you know, 6 to 8 hours a week, if that. Poking at different things. I will say, and this is something we've talked about before, Runeterra does itself a bit of a disservice. Comment seems great. Runeterra does itself a bit of a disservice in terms of being able to present itself as a more casual game because of its multi-deck format. They basically lock casual players out of being able to do anything other than play ladder because of their multi-deck choices. Yeah, just take this hit for 6. A lot of things that gain life. A pass here to start.
She called me betrayer. She scorned me.
Casuals can still enjoy PvE. That's true, but so something that I've found, and this is definitely a little bit of a biased opinion because it's the category that I fall into, and it's the category, the reason why I think a lot of my community falls into, but I think there's a very large segment of card game players that I would refer to as competitive casuals, where like they're not people that want to net deck and like play the like de facto best deck, but they're people that like enjoy being kind of good at something and want to play a little casually even, but they want to be somewhat competitive while they do that. And the multi-deck format really hurts that specific demographic of player. Are we falling commenting this? I have a hush for a Pantheon down the line. I'm just gonna drop a rock on this. I think most people that would describe themselves as full competitive end up in competitive casual before long in card games. I think games like card games that have variance by design lead themselves to being more enjoyable as a competitive casual than a pure spike. I should have blocked with a 3-2 to play around Pale Cascade here. Summons. If you've targeted allies 6+ times, grant me Spell Shield, Overwhelm, and Challenger. All players draw a card, and then your opponents discard their card at the highest cost. Sounds good. Nice. So with Lux, Star Chart plus Concerted Strike, let us trigger a thing. Pass and see what they do. I think if they take a pass here, that's good for me. They burn 7, we burn 4. Then I'm gonna tick towards Pantheon. I want them to make a decision before they know. They're definitely the beatdown in this matchup. So I think us mostly chilling is fine.
Everywhere I go, the
Easiest round end of my life.
I stand this day, a man against all gods. Today we say enough.
Start with this and see what happens. This is not elusive. It is challenger though, which is a little scary. Honestly, Moon Silver is probably what I want here. Hey, thanks for the Prime Hydrogen. I really appreciate the quarter viewer. Welcome back. What if we star shaping here? We get to generate a thing. Our hand's kind of full for Living Legends. Like we'll take Destroyer. This levels Lux though. And then because we leveled her with Burst, we get priority back after. And now I can laser this to pop its spell shield. And then once the spell shield is popped, we can hush it. So we can block it profitably inside of combat. So spell shield, unlike barrier, does not go away at end of turn. So we need to clean that out basically. Well, this says Fury. Yeah, it's fine though.
They will know.
My steel is yours.
Hush, little Pantheon, don't say a word. Daddy's gonna spank you with a Solari Priestess.
We made it. Yay. But our stuff didn't.
Yay.
I know the path.
Attack with all of these. They'll eat one and then we'll play Radiant Guardian. This exchange seems good for us. This matchup has had big, like, Jund versus Infect energy in a really pleasant way. I feel like these Pantheon decks, they really finally got the formula right. Because this style of deck, I feel like, is really hard to balance. Like, this is the same type of deck that, like, the Fiora decks tend to be. And it's tough. It's tough to balance these kind of spells matters decks with, letting them be, what's it called? Letting them be, like, competitive, but not feel rancid. I feel like they hit a pretty good balance with these Pantheon builds.
I will end this here.
Alright, they have some amount of tricks here, right? Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. I will find you. No, they actually don't usually play Fiora with Pantheon.
Banish the unworthy.
I wonder if anybody's experimented with that, Potter. Definitely feels like something that could be worthwhile. Timer, Jace, Vi. Honestly, might just keep this whole hand. Zoe is like an early card we might want that's proactive, but they're a PNZ deck in Bandle Cities. They have like Pokesticks and stuff. She's pretty likely to die. I mean, like, that's basically just irrelevant then, Tobias. We are here to bank all of the spell mana.
Discipline and steel. We march.
Start the turn by attacking.
Hello. Anyone want to join my party?
Yordle Captain's a little scary.
Bask in her radiant blessing.
In her radiant blessing. We'll drop Luxie Poo, or we'll Blind Mystic this. That's probably the line now, huh? Or we won't. She's gonna cost 6. So they get to modify one of these two cards with one of these penalties. Yeah.
The sun is shining. We should too.
We should too.
Ah, the sweet smell of science.
The sweet smell of science. Oh, he gets bigger from Yordle Captain. Gross. Survey says.
Courage, soldier.
Pushing my limits.
Ready to start blasting, fam?
Well, just do your best, okay?
guess we do this.
A beacon through the dark.
Failed.
Behold, progress!
Ornitang.
A beacon in battle.
We attack in with these two because the +3/+3 is temporary. They want to block either of these. We get to Sharp Sight and pump it up. Wow, that's super unfortunate. You might be dead, fam.
Go into the light. And fire.
Does Hush undo that? Hush would set her back to being a 4/6. Silencing a unit puts it to its base stats, basically.
I protect my own. My time has come.
I fight for the fallen.
I fight for the fallen.
It's an awesome day for
I could have, but like I didn't think the 8/8 was that big of a deal, and it really wouldn't have been if they hadn't had exactly stress testing. So what you're saying was a legal play, but I didn't think it was one we needed to make based on the information we had at the time.
It's smaller than the diagram.
So we need to gain life this turn. So I definitely want to get in with this with a barrier on it. The question is, do I want to also warrior? Probably. So I have 11 total mana. So if I do warrior and this, that's 7. So I have enough left over to do double 2s, which is pretty good. Maybe I'd rather warrior into barrier warrior, ship this into this. Yeah, let's do that. I could kill us again in response here. 4 cards left. Morning, Cedrus.
Unforeseen outcome.
Okay, now I think I want to just barrier this and get in for 6.
with yours.
And then we can have like this just eat a 3/2.
the unworthy.
They could have like a deal damage to this in response, like another Mystic Shot to break the barrier. They do not. We're still at a relatively healthy 12 with this this Life Stealer in play.
Sturdy construction. Yeah.
Okay.
Exceptional advancement in ballistics.
Let's go Blind Mystic, make you bigger, make you smaller.
The heavens aflame, gods burning in starfire.
This lets Radiant Guardian hop in front of one of these 5/2s cleanly. And also get +2/+2 in a pinch here.
There's nothing a little ingenuity can't fix.
I think we have to silence Jace, right? Otherwise we die to Challenger because they hook my lifesteal all the way to the right. Morning, Breadboxer. They just don't have good attacks. That's a great draw. So let's go Zoe into Bright Steel on here, and then we'll get in.
A fine spectrum of pyrotechnics.
This is the cutting edge of progress.
It works. Oh, it works.
I've got your back.
Got your back. Thanks for dropping in, Eagle. I'm gonna attack with this because I want this to die so we can Radiant Guardian. You thought paying for it if the daycare is closed, not paying for it if the daycare is closed. That's not true at all, Assassin. In December, my wife and I paid for 3 weeks of daycare, or all 4 weeks of daycare, and Haley attended 3.5 days because of closures. You can elect not to pay, and then you lose your slot in the daycare, and someone else will get it. What's going on, Z-Hoss? Yeah, we've been back doing Runeterra for a little bit. If you look on my YouTube channel, we've been playing since like the beginning of December.
1.21 gigahexes.
Yeah, with the acceleration gate, we're just dead. Held in there longer than I thought we could. Well, the one like silver lining is that the daycare is quite affordable in the United States. It only costs $1,300 a month for daycare, so it's not like we're paying a lot for the service that can't be provided. Also, for what it's worth, I don't even really blame the daycare provider for like asking people to pay, because like they're a small business. that, like, you know, if they don't have any income, they're going to disappear. As has been the case for a lot of things throughout the pandemic. It's just kind of a systematic failure on the government side that they haven't provided more support for people. But, you know, that's what happens when 40% of the country continues to elect obstructionists to the Senate that don't want to actually review or pass any legislation. That was sarcasm, by the way, chat. $1,300 is comparable to the price of my home mortgage. Apologies if that didn't come through abundantly clear. Darkness control. Mulligan these to keep the proactive play on the Lux. What more could the government do? Fucking pay people to stay home. Do what other reasonable governments did. No, you know how you stop the spread of things? You provide support for your people so that way they don't feel obligated to show up to work when they're sick. Have robust social safety nets. Closed borders. I don't know, looking at the metrics from a lot of other developed countries that will have people coming here from them, and the borders aren't really the problem. And these are all kind of rancid, huh? I guess we'll take the charger. The charger's fine. Rancid's a strong word for a 1-mana 4/1. Says, for people that haven't played with or against the Darkness deck, by the way, this is the single best card in their deck. It gives them extra Darkness triggers early, so like their Darknesses are all pumped up by 2. What's going on, Time Lord? Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I've played a good bit with the Darkness deck, and you don't strictly have to have that 3/2 early, but your games are definitely easier when you have it. I think we're just in on the value train here. Just want to go long in this. This matchup's going to go long regardless. I want to generate as much card advantage as possible with every decision I make. We just doggo. This is not a matchup where Zoe is ever surviving. Every time Viego untaps is also very bad for us. They're up to a 5 on the Darknesses already. It makes me a little bit sad to say it, but this deck that we're currently playing has not felt particularly good this morning. Feels like we've had really big, like, wrong half problems, where our cards just, like, have not lined up well into what our opponents have been doing at all.
Witness true power.
It's a good thing you're cute, Viggs.
taking the messenger because these other cards are particularly exciting.
We're in this together.
So I think we need to level Lux and beam something here, right? The question is it Viego or is it Senna? Their darknesses are already at like 5, so like, what's the point of letting it get bigger at this point? So I think I'd rather kill Senna.
Better. Brighter than before.
I don't think Lux is strictly weak, just this particular deck hasn't felt very good. Yeah, Jace Lux felt very reasonable when we played it. It's only been the best feeling Lux deck I've played. I think Dude Light shout at the start of this deck's distinct lack of 1 mana. Distinct lack of 1 mana spells is definitely, or sorry, 6 mana spells is definitely something worth noting. Can you single combat one and beam the other? So in Runeterra, a card doesn't count as cast until it's fully resolved. So if I would have single combated one of them, it would have only done 3. Lux doesn't level and then fight. Yeah, I don't think the opponent realized the interaction that was going to happen there. For people commenting on my opponent's kind of strange play. They just thought one thing was going to happen and then something else did.
I want it, and I want it now.
Lord Vega, you cannot rush perfection.
Messenger, see what we get. Doggo, doggo, doggo. I mean, I'm not sure I know anybody that thought Hush was okay at when it released. Most people thought that was kind of not okay. At least in the circles I was a part of. I was playing a lot of Runeterra when that card released. Maybe just kill this idiot, right? Yeah, I agree with you, Hobbit. I like the 2 mana. It's exactly what you said. It's fine. It's fine at 3, but I think I liked it at 2. It's mostly whatever though. This type of effect is a pretty big feels bad for people trying to do sweet things. So having the feels bad be slightly more mana is fine. Does this not get to cast then? Speaking of feels bad, coming from Magic, that type of interaction always feels terrible, where the cast doesn't count until you're. It was an RNG card, right? Where did they get this? Oh, Lightning Rush is Bandle City. Okay. Not an RNG. In my head, that card was Ionia. I just don't really have good attacks. which is unfortunate.
Safely.
And this is kind of a spot where we've been in a lot here. Where, like, we've got, like, Lux set up here, but we also just, like, don't really have a good proactive way to trigger her and be aggressive with it, which puts us in an awkward spot against this control deck for sure.
Ah, darling. There for your measurements.
This will be kept private.
It might be wrong to attack with the Lux here, because she can bounce off the barrier. As if they put the 3/4 into Lux, and the darkness could kill her. Sure. It's gonna go ahead and end the round here. Lose a little bit of mana, but I think that's fine. Maybe I'm supposed to single combat here.
Demacian steel. Try Demacian magic.
They could, like, put another damage spell in front of this. Any morph? Yikes. Wanna talk about feels bad. This thing's gonna level now too, and there's nothing I can really do about it. This thing generates a darkness every turn now too, right? And they could just, like... Yeah. I'm gonna play one more for the sake of doing a touch bar Runeterra this morning, but... I think this will probably not be a deck that I play again. This is the type of deck where the deck that we're currently playing is definitely the type of deck where it's not playable in best of one. It's like probably fine in a pick ban environment, and it would be excellent if you had access to sideboard cards. The person I just timed out that said I missed a single combat the previous turn, your way that you should present that's not obnoxious and is instead helpful is that you should say, Jeff, this is why you should single combat the previous turn with the information that you have. You can't approach card games from the perspective of, oh, I should have made this decision with new information that I now have that I didn't have previously. It's not a good way to approach card games. You'll end up losing a lot more than you win trying to make decisions based on hindsight. You have to make good decisions with the information you have in the moment, which is hard. I know it's easier to just be like, LOL, streamer missed it based on new information, but if your goal is to get better, which is generally my goal when playing games, is you need to approach it from a critical thinking perspective. Kind of ramp deck it looks like. Could be Targon's Peak. A lot of ramp.
So much tinier than my space doggy.
Yeah, our deck, the one matchup where this deck felt specifically really good was the Pantheon matchup that we played. So being good into aggressive decks makes a lot of sense. Which from a base game theory deck building perspective, like this style of deck in Magic always has to choose whether or not it wants to be good into aggro or good into control. And then usually you sideboard into being okay against the other one. I'm going to go ahead and kill this, actually, to cut them off of an accelerant next turn. Yeah, we're also very good against the Fiora deck. This is the style of deck, like I said, where if we had access to a sideboard, this deck would be really sweet to play. Without having access to a sideboard, it just doesn't feel great. Oh yeah, I'm gonna star shaping. I'm gonna star shaping as a spin to win here. This makes one card in each player's hand free each turn. So our NGs take the wheel. Close. Close.
Got your back.
They passed the turn. These are a few of my favorite friends. I have found the attack with all button. Your move, you boy. We've played against that archetype a couple of times since coming back to doing more Runeterra stuff. And what just happened there is how it always plays out. It just like casts 3 or 4 ramp spells and then dies to an attack with everything. The old Target's Peak pass, die. Yes, exactly that. There's a deck that loses to itself its target's peak. It's Lurk, is that what you said? Lurk loses to itself? Hey, Balasar, thanks for the 22 months of Prime. Appreciate you keeping me around.
A Demacian soldier is worth 10 foes.
Is worth 10 foes. Let's not attack into these, actually, because we can theoretically, if I attack, they block with the 1/1, and then this trades with a 3/3, whereas if I hold it back, it can theoretically trade with both 3/3s.
Soldiers, to me.
Just let that happen. I want to save my spells for after we drop Lux next turn. As appealing as sharp sighting there could potentially be.
We can do this.
We can do this. Shit. Mini morph is very vomit inducing. What's going on, Jake Gravy? Congrats and condolences on your finals appearance at our event recently. Thanks for battling. The other, and this is the other problem. This is the other problem with this deck that we're currently playing, is that we don't have any card draw in our deck. So like when our champion gets answered, we don't have a good way to find our way back to it. So we just kind of like sit here and spin tires. Which isn't particularly fun or exciting. Look how sparkly!
Order, entropy, a never-ending cycle.
Good for saving the sharp sight earlier. Might single combat these two. Just cut their Heimer off at the pass. They haven't played anything that can save this. And again, we're just like back to that spot I was talking about, right? Where like our champions are gone, the rest of our cards are kind of middling. I guess we can sharp star shaping here to maybe generate a big one. If the music sounds distorted, that is a bug on Twitch's end. You need to refresh your stream. You can always find my schedule with not only when I'm going to be live, but what I'm going to be live with when on my website here, as well as pinned on my Twitter page. This is just the Scourge angle. It's not happening for a few turns, obviously, but it's Zoe makes the rules is.
Tomorrow has never looked so good. Nothing beats field testing.
We just mini morph this. Scourge is soft to mini morph. I think a mini morph happening on this and leaving us free to have another champion be good down the line actually has a lot of value. It's progress day.
What wondrous discoveries await below?
Zoe just like actually never lives in this matchup. In fact, speaking of, Zoe's actually been, as much as it hurts my heart to say, chat, Zoe's actually been really bad throughout this entire set. Which honestly might be part of this deck's problem. Like, its champions are the only big things it has going on, and this deck just doesn't have the tools to protect Zoe. And like, when our champions are such an integral part of what we have going on. Deals 3 to 2 different things. I think that's fine. I'll just drop Radiant Guardian here. Well, so, I don't agree with that specific comment. So, I've played a number of Zoe decks that have been fine and reasonable and can, like, protect Zoe and leverage her well. Or, like, they just use her as an aggressive threat. This deck's just not one of those. The problem isn't that Zoe is bad, it's that this deck doesn't feel like it's leveraging her appropriately. Thanks for the follow, Van. Alright, we have a plan. Uncertain how good of a plan it is, but it's a plan all the same. Zoe Diana? I don't know. I haven't played Zoe Diana. I don't really have an opinion on that one. Alright, we are through Mini-Morph the first. Well, the second? The second. They Mini-Morphed to Lux earlier.
Industry and vision, the twin pillars of Bilbo. Tomorrow awaits.
What punishes this block? What punishes this?
Money matters.
My shield is yours.
My shield is yours. Did that Mini-Morph just generate off that burst? Alright, I'm gonna go play Magic. This deck was really bad, and the set was full of bad variants. Yeah, this is the type of deck that I would kind of like to play, but just isn't playable in best of one. Sedge.